It wasn't that long ago that I did a video for the Manscaped 3.0 Plus. Then I did a video then for the Manscaped 4.0, and now we've got a video coming up for the Manscaped 5.0 Ultra. Despite these Manscaped lawnmowers being relatively small trimmers, they've always done a great job for me from trimming down from the neck down to the gonads area. And the 5.0 Ultra differs in terms of it's got a shaver head with it as well, so you can shave to skin level. In this video I'm going to do my usual where I share what I like and dislike about the features and design of the trimmer, and I will also do a demo trim where I trim my chest area just so you get a demonstration of how it performs. Obviously I cannot demonstrate down below there, the pubic area and all that, for obvious reasons, but I can share what my experience has been. I've certainly had my challenges with getting along well with body groomers, and especially shaving around the balls and all that. I've certainly had my challenges with that, but the Manscaped have been the best trimmers that I've got on with shaving around that area. Now I'm not saying perfect, I don't think any of them are perfect. My kind of perfect go-to really is to use a decent trimmer, trim down any hair, and then use a multi-blade razor. However, I still want to test these and use them, review them, and some people get along with them better than me and would prefer to just use a trimmer like this rather than getting a razor out. But even after reviewing all these Manscaped ones and me favouring these, I've still not found it at all. I've gone, oh, that's brilliant, that's great. However, the Manscaped have come close to like, whoa, this is pretty good. So what's one of these going to cost? It's going to cost around about 120 US dollars for one of these, 110 pound in the UK or 120 euros, so it's not cheap at all. The Manscaped 3.0 Plus costs around about $70. That's kind of a better price. Still, I found that was a little bit pricey anyway. And then the 4.0, the Manscaped Lawn Mower 4.0 is around about $90. So in a way, for me, stepping up from the 4.0 to the 5.0 isn't a major price difference. But from the 3.0, $70 to 100 is quite some difference. But what's going to matter is if you want to have this shaver head. If you don't need the shaver head, then you can drop down to one of the trimmers and maybe even down to the 3.0 Plus. You have to consider replacements as well. The replacement trimmer blade for these cost around about $20 US, about £25, 25 euros. So you have to consider them. Now Manscaped says these are best to be changed every 3 to 6 months, but it depends how often we use them. But that's worth noting is that the trimmer blades over a period of time is going to be some additional cost. Plus these have to be replaced. I think this is around about once every 12 months. So there's an additional cost for the shaver element as well. I just want to mention, if you're purchasing from the website, from the Manscaped website, that like a lot of these men's grooming websites, you'll find that a box is already ticked for you to purchase on buying this at a reduced rate. But that reduced rate means that you're signed up to subscription service. So do check that. Do check that when you're on the website, because you might need to uncheck that box and check the box only for the trimmer, where you'll probably pay $10 or £10 more. But you won't be subscribed to the subscription plan. But look into the subscription plan to see if you think it's suitable for you. But just to note, when you arrive on the website, just to check that out if it's not too late. I've seen many complaints on my website, not so much with Manscaped, with some other companies where they've got replacement blades sent in the post, and I'm like, damn, I didn't order them. I didn't realise that they didn't uncheck the box and tick the other box. Okay, so when I unbox the kit, I get this nice little sturdy sort of travel case. Quite like the travel case it comes in. It's kind of fabric on the outside, but it's a little bit solid. Then we get three combs of it, and two of these are adjustable combs where we get a setting from 2mm to 6mm on one, and then the other one is from 8mm to 12mm. We also get an extra one with this, which we don't get with a 3.0 Plus or the 4.0, which is a 1.4mm. So that's for trimming down very close, very short. These trimmer combs are quite easy to attach. You just kind of slide the trimmer comb on the blade, and then once we've got that attached, we slide it up and down to the adjustment setting that we want. To remove the trimmer blade as well, that's pretty simple. We just kind of push our thumb at the top section and push the trimmer blade out. Then we can attach the shaver element to it, the shaver head. These can be a little bit tricky at times, but you just kind of have to line it up at the bottom. Also on box we get a USB cord. Now I quite like having a USB type C cord, because I've got lots of these leads around the house. If I had a problem and lost this, or I forgot to take it with me when I was travelling, then I'd be able to use another USB cord that I have. However, we don't get a plug with this one. Now I got one with the 4.0, sorry. I got a plug with it and an adapter in the USA. But I did not get any adapter with this, so that's no issue, so I've got plenty of adapters. I know it's only detail, but I quite like the manual that we get with the manual, all the instructions that we get with this. It's very detailed compared to most other companies. I review Groin and Philips shavers and they have these tiny little booklets about that big that you need a microscope to be able to read them, but these are quite detailed with pictures and explains how to use it and the functions pretty well. I like that. Manscaped states that skin safe technology just does not provide skin cut protection, and I like that they're pretty honest with that and straightforward with it, rather than pretending or stating that you're never going to get a nick or cut again whilst using one of these. So we only get a 90-day warranty period with this, which is not that great, is it? We kind of want 12 months really. So the design, build and ergonomics, so it's a very small trimmer. These Manscaped trimmers are kind of the smallest ones that I've used, and at first I didn't believe that they'd be able to shave or trim larger areas like the chest and that. Now the shape of this is kind of like it's like a little bit of a banana kind of shape. It tapers upwards there, and that shape is very good for getting in kind of nooks and crannies. Think about the groin area or the underarms area. It kind of scoops. So I really like the shape of it, and it feels solid enough. Now the outer edge of it has some matte finish at the bottom, so that provides some grip. However, I did quite like the 3 Plus, which is all of that is a matte finish, and I kind of liked the feel of that, and it just felt slightly more grippy. However, the 4.0 and the 5.0 Ultra, it just looks a bit slicker with that the shiny section near the top. I do like this light that we get on the front of the trimmer, so when we're shaving, especially around the balls area and all that, we've got light that helps to shine there. And there's a light on this one, on the 5.0 Ultra. It has 2 shades. There's kind of like a whiter light, and then one that's a bit brighter. The one I prefer is when I switch it on, the first light that comes on. Yeah, but I find that really useful. However, when you're using the shaver, shaver section, that light only shines on the front. Now I'd kind of like to have a light shine on the back of it, but of course that's not, I guess design wise that's not possible. And how I overcome that is I always put on my phone torch light, and I stand that up, and when I'm trimming down below there, stand that there, and that gives me plenty of light plus the additional light off there. I can't go wrong then, and you know, hopefully prevent some nicks and cuts. To activate the light, there's a button underneath the main power button, so we can press that and it'll switch the light off, and we can switch it back on, and we can switch it again to change it to the other mode of light. This additional button here as well can also be used for the travel lock. So if we press this button whilst the trimmer is switched off and hold it in for 3 seconds, we'll see the bottom light indicator light up, and that will disable the trimmer from working, so the travel lock will be on. So then if we press the button again for about 3 seconds, then we see that indicator lights again, and then we're able to use the trimmer again. The trimmer blade is only 35mm, 1.25 inches wide, so that's very slim for a trimmer. However, I found that's great when using this around smaller areas, you know, the groin area, the pubic area, the balls and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, a wider blade is much better on a larger area. However, this works well for all the other areas, and as I've said previously, even though it's not very wide, it's still efficient at shaving larger areas. And this skin safe technology relates to the trimmer blade having a ceramic edge to it, and I think possibly that ceramic edge prevents me from getting nicks so easily. This extra shaver attachment, this should only be used on hair that has been trimmed down to at least around about 5mm. Now, similar to the Philips 3000, 5000 and 7000, these are bi-directional as well, so it moves back. Well, this one doesn't, the 3000 series of the Philips, the 5000 does, but on this, the Manscaped 5.0, this will move backwards and forwards. But these will also trim as well, so these can be quite good at picking up hairs that are a bit too long for the shaver. A feature I really like that I'd never really thought about before using the Manscaped is this constant RPMs. So no matter what battery charge we have left, what power we have left in the battery, as it's running flat, it's still gonna have the same speed as what it has throughout using it. So I think that's a great feature to have. more so when we're shaving down that area. I mean, when we're shaving around down below there, the last thing we want, and we're already fearing, is getting a nick or a cut. Now if they slow down, as I've experienced in the past with other trimmers, guaranteed you're going to pull hairs. So that's a feature that I like. The 700 mAh lithium battery is quite a decent battery for a small trimmer like this, and we get around about 60 minutes run time. Based on my usage, what I've used since I've had this, I'd say that's around about right, and it takes just over an hour or so, to fully charge it, recharge it. Also, if it runs flat, the battery runs flat, and we just want to get a quick trim, I rarely get a quick trim, and it usually takes a while, but if it just wants to finish off a trim, then we can charge the battery for 5 minutes and get a good few minutes out of it. The light indicator is quite simple, and I find that it useful. It's got 3 segments, so when it's fully charged, you've got full power in the battery, it'll be fully lit up. And then once we go down to 2 segments, we know we've lost 33% of the power, and we've got 66%. So then once it goes down to 1 segment, we've got 33%, and we're gonna have to be thinking about recharging it pretty soon. This trimmer also has wireless capability. Not to say that I've used that at all, but if you have one of those disc type of things that are plugged in, and you want to recharge it wirelessly, then you can place it on there, and that has the technology in it for you to be able to do that. I found it easy enough to clean. All you have to do is pop off the trimmer comb, and then you can wash it all underneath the faucet, under the tap, with warm water. I mean, I usually put a bit of hand antibacterial soap in it as well. Give it a little bit of a rub around, give it a swirl inside as well. Then you can also do the same with the shaver. But with the shaver, what I do as well is I put a spot of antibacterial soap on the top of the shaver foil, and then run water on it, and then put the trimmer. Power the trimmer on, and let that run for a little bit before giving it a swill out. And the shaver head cassette can be taken out as well, so that can all be swilled out and inside that area. So that's the features covered. Now before I do a body groom demo, I'll just run into my experience with shaving down below, down at the nether regions. Now shaving the pubic area, I find it really good using a smaller trimmer and trimming that down. Now in between the groin area, the legs there, I find this very useful because of the shape of this and how small the head is, it just cups in that area nicely. So yeah, I like it for that. Now shaving the nuts, that's been a great experience compared to other trimmers that I've had, but what I do have to do is take my time, and I kind of have to glide the trimmer across the skin and scoop it, whilst, as you guys probably know, you've got to do plenty of skin stretching to prevent getting any nicks or cuts. And it works pretty well. I get less nicks and cuts with this than what I do with other trimmers. However, I'm not nick and cut free, I am, but I'm not nick free. When I first used a 3.0 Plus, I never got any nicks at all. I was like, wow, that's the first time that I haven't got any nicks. But I am getting the odd ones with the 4.0 and this Ultra. However, what I have noticed that if we can think about the the penis area, a bit, I'm not being crude, but right underneath where we kind of get that line, it's like before we was born, somebody opened up their sack and then decided to sew it together again. Do you know that part of it that I mean? Well, that's where always for myself that the nicks occur. It's never anywhere else. So I've sussed that out and learned to try and stretch that area out better to be able to trim. So I hope that makes sense. So yeah, trimming is better than most others that I've used. Now with the shaver element, yeah, that gets kind of skin close. It takes a little bit of time, and I have to do a lot of stretching and that again, but it does work, and it works pretty well. I do find though that it takes a bit more time than I'd like to, and I get a few too many leftover hairs, and I can't help but feeling like I just want to trim and then get a 5-bladed razor out, or the multi-blade razor, and just shave it off in the shower and just be done with it, and it's quicker and smoother. But I do think that this is great with just the trimmer section, just for trimming in between the groin area, trimming down the gonads, because actually trimming down with just the trimmer blade is short enough really. It didn't feel prickly to me, the hair afterwards. It's kind of short enough. So for me, without the shaver thing, I'm kind of I probably prefer the trimmer like that. So I could go for the 4.0 or the 3.0 plus rather than this one. Right, let's grab myself a mirror and get a spot of body grooming done. I'm going to show as many examples as I can of the methods that we can use this. So I'm going to shave one side of my chest. Actually, this has been 6 weeks of growth, so I've got a decent amount of hair on there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the 4mm comb on the one side of my chest first. That's removing that easy enough. See, as I said, even though this is not very wide, it still doesn't take long to trim. I'd expect it to take a lot longer. No, I'm not going to do this perfect. I just want to show, giving you guys a demonstration. Right, we can see that's trimmed down pretty well, that side, isn't it? That's the 4mm. Now I'm going to attach the shaver head, and we're going to use that next. It's a lot noisier, the shaver head is. And that's for this side of the chest that I've just done the 4mm on. So this will pick up the longer hairs these trimmers on these sides. Okay, I reckon we're done about there. I can finish this off properly after, but you kind of get the idea, don't you? You get the gist of it. That looks a bit reddish there, but it doesn't feel irritated at all. Now I can feel slight bits of stubble still. It's not perfectly shaven like a manual razor. I mean, maybe let me try and go over some of these to see if I'll be able to remove more of the stubble. Yeah, I can reduce that stubble somewhat, but it'll take some time. Maybe I wouldn't get a perfectly close shave. Now I think that redness is caused by these trimmer blades. You know, they're slightly rough. Okay, so on this side now, I'm just going to use a trimmer blade first without a comb on there, because this example might be useful for us that just want to get it trimmed down short as possible and then get the shave done. So this is just with the trimmer with no comb, trimmer blade and no comb. Yeah, that's much quicker with just a trimmer blade and no comb attached. You have to remember with this trimmer that to try and shave in the direction of the growth, or against the direction rather, against the grain, because it will miss hairs and you need to go back and shave against them. I think that's enough. That'll do. Now I can go back over it now with just the shaver attachment. I think you're getting the gist of it anyway. So it will trim down quick enough, and it will shave down quick enough, not super close. Yeah, that can be a bit, this section can be a bit rough on the chest. It looks, this redness looks worse than what it is. So job done. So there we go, job done. Yeah, it's not a bad tool, is it? I'm still happy with this as a trimmer for trimming around the groin area, the ball area, the pubic area and all that. I'm even happy with it shaving the chest, because if I'm going to shave right down below there, then I might as well do the chest at the same time, trim the chest at the same time. I'm not so keen really on the shaver elements, it's same as the Phillips and that, but that's me. I like to get a razor out, and I don't like to use a shaver and still find stubble there. It's just something that I have, so I'm going to get a multi-blade razor. However, for other guys that might get irritation from shaving with razors, or they're just very happy with an electric shave on the body, then yeah, it's brilliant, it's great. It's just going to leave a few stubbly areas there left over, so you have to just keep that in mind. But as to what these guys are going for really, Manscaped, which is they're going for the balls really, aren't they? Yeah, for me, these are the ideal tool for that. And I can even get on fine with just, as I'd mentioned previously, of just having this trimmer section and trimming the balls with that, and then just getting it extremely close, and it doesn't feel stubbly or anything, so I'm quite happy with using it in that manner. And then if I want to, I have to get a Gillette Matte Free Fusion 5, whatever razor out, and go over it and get them as smooth as can be. Right, now what I could recommend is, I've also got a video that you'll see at the end of this video, where I do the Manscaped 3.0 Plus versus the 4.0. So there's a difference in price, there's a small difference in features. So it's worth comparing them. And then after that video, if you just think whether you want the shaver head extra or not, because if you don't, then it's between the 3.0 and the 4.0, which the 3.0, as I mentioned earlier, in the US is $70. This is $110, so that's $40 difference. So if you don't want that, then you may be considering the 3.0 or 4.0. But if you're really interested in being able to use the shaver head, then it's going to be this Ultra. There'll be a bunch of links in the description to the articles on my website, Shaving Advisor, for these, and manscaping articles and everything else, but I'll drop a bunch of links in the description below. It's worth taking a look at them. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, do hit the subscribe button. You'll get a notification once the next video is live. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day.